Welcome back, students. Today we are going to discuss Unit 6. And in Unit 6, we are going to discuss body fluid and circulation or circulatory system part 2. Okay. But before I start the main content, I would like to inform that the images used in our slides are for education purpose only. We respect intellectual property right of the original creator and owner of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this PPT, have any concern, any issue, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. In today's video lecture, we are mainly focusing on the circulatory system. Closed and open circulatory system we have already discussed in our part 1. Now today we are going to discuss structure and pumping action of heart, mainly human heart, arterial blood pressure and lymph. Okay. So human circulatory system. Human circulatory system consists of some parts which include heart, blood vessels which are closed in our as our blood circulatory system is closed one. So closed blood vessels, it contains both artery and vein. In artery, normally oxygenated blood flow, while in vein, deoxygenated blood, right? And circulatory blood. So these are the parts of our circulatory system. As you can see in this particular picture, all the lines which are shown in red in color, they denotes artery. Okay, while all blue one comes under veins or deoxygenated blood. Okay, so these are certain artery and veins like coronary artery, superior vena cava, heart, our circulatory system part, pulmonary arteries, femoral veins, renal veins, inferior vena cava, pulmonary veins, human artery. So these all are, this whole network comes under human circulatory system. Okay, heart, closed blood vessels that include both artery and vein, and the content which is present in that blood vessel means blood. So first of all, first organ, that is blood, heart. So our heart is a muscular organ. It is muscular and mesodermal in origin. What is the location? Our heart is located in the thoracic cavity between lungs and slightly tilted towards the left side. Okay. So what is the location? Thoracic cavity between the lungs and slightly towards the left side. Our heart is protected by a double-walled membranous bag which is known as pericardium. Okay, pericardium. Our heart has 4 chambers. 2 atria and 2 ventricle. Atria relatively small, and these are the upper chambers of our heart, while ventricles are comparatively larger, and these are the lower chamber of our heart. As you can see in this particular picture, these two are atria, right atrium, left atrium. These are comparatively small than what? Ventricle. This one is the right and this is the left ventricle. Clear? Okay. Now, there are some walls also present, which is known as septa. Okay, which is present in our between our atria and ventricles. So first one is interatrial septum. This interatrial septum actually separate right and left atria. And interventricular septum separate left and right ventricles. Okay, but there is a AV septa also present, atria ventricular septum, which actually separate atrium from this ventricle of the same side. So 3 type of walls are there. Like if this is the structure, rough structure. So this is known as interatrial septum. This one is known as interventricular septum, and this is known as atrioventricular septum. These are the walls. Clear? Now, valves. There are Three type of walls are present in our heart. First one is known as tricapsid wall. This one, tricapsid wall. 1, 2, 3. So its location, if I'll just try to okay, draw a diagram which actually show if it will open, how it look like. It look like this. If it will open, then it will look like this in an open position. Okay, I'll just correct it again. If it will open, then just a second, like this. That's why we can use the term tricapsid wall here. Okay, it actually guards opening between right atrium and right ventricle. Here, this is right atrium and this is right ventricle. So it is the opening between these two. When blood comes from the right atrium to the right ventricle side, it will open like this. So tricapsid are there, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Next one is bicapsid or mitral valve. It actually present between left atrium and left ventricle here. This is left ventricle here. And this is left atrium. It is present over here. This one. This is known as mitral valve. So how it look like? It look like in a closed form like this, or in an open form, like when it is in open form, it will look like this. From here, blood flow from ventricle to left atrium side. Okay, so first one is tricapsid. This one is present between right atrium and right ventricle. Bicuspid, it is present in the left atrium and left ventricle. Clear? And the third one is known as semilunar valve. Semilunar valve. It actually control blood flow from the ventricle to the pulmonary artery, or we can say aorta. Here, this is known as semilunar valve. Okay, it actually control blood flow from the ventricle to the pulmonary artery. This is pulmonary artery. So it actually control the blood flow from the ventricle to the pulmonary artery. So three type of valve is present in our heart. Now let's discuss nodal tissue. There are different type of tissue, different structure kind of tissue is present in our heart. First one is known as sinoatrial node or SA node. SA node or SAN or sinoatrial node. This one SA node. Where it is located, as you can see, this what is this area? This is atria, right atria, right ventricle, left atria, left ventricle. So it is located in the right atria, right upper part of the atrium. And this SA node is important to initiate the heart rhythm. So it is also known as pacemaker of our heart. Pacemaker of our heart, SA node. It is present on the right upper corner of right atria. Clear? Now, second one is known as AV node or atrioventricular node. AV node. Here it is located. Here. AV node. This one is the SA node, which is known as pacemaker, or a type of node which actually initiate our heart rhythm. Second is AV node. This AV node is found near the atrioventricular septum. Okay, so this is atria and here ventricular starts, so it is present in the atrioventricular septum. Third one is AB bundles, atrioventricular bundles. This atrioventricular bundles actually continue from this AV node. From here, it AV node into the right and left side, and it divide ventricle into the right and left. So this is, this yellow one is he comes over here, and this one comes over here. This is known as atrioventricular bundle. Okay, atrioventricular bundle. Next is Purkinje fiber. These are the ending comes this kind of a structure. This is known as Purkinje fiber. This Purkinje fiber actually distributed throughout the ventricular musculature. In ventricular musculature. Clear? And then bundle of His is also present over here, which include bundle of His include nodal fiber and bundles. This bundle of His nodal fiber here, node AV nodes is there present over here. So nodal fiber and bundle of His. So here we can use the term bundle of His. Lower one we can use the term Purkinje fiber for the same. Okay, so this one is SA node, which is present on the right upper corner of the right atrium, followed by AB node, which is present between the atrium and ventricular septa, right near the septa, atrioventricular septa. Next, AB bundles, which continue from the AB node towards the ventricular side and divide this interventricular septum into two parts. Endings of this is known as Purkinje fiber, which actually distributed throughout the ventricular musculature, and bundle of His is present over here near the AB nodes. Okay, it include nodal fiber and bundles. Now heartbeat and the action potential. Heartbeat is actually generated without any external stimulator. So it is a auto-excitability. It is having auto-excitability capability in which nodal musculature generate action potential without any external stimuli. SA node generate maximum action potential. That's why we can use the term pacemaker, because heart rhythm start from this particular region only, SA node region. That's why it generate maximum action potential, means 70 to 75 per minute. And this SA node is actually responsible for our cardiac rhythm. Lub, dub, lub, dub, lub, dub. That kind of contracting activity. This SA node. Okay. So SA node is responsible for rhythmic contraction activity of our heart. And what is the normal heart rate? This is 70 to 75 beat per minute, not per second, per minute. Okay. So just look very carefully with this animated picture how our heart rhythm going on. This is known as cardiac cycle, one cardiac cycle. So cardiac cycle is a sequence of events that occur when our heart beats. Okay, it consists of two different phases. First one is systolic, where contraction occurs. Systolic means contraction. At this time, atria contract, means atrialic contraction, or it is in atria in systolic phase. And at this phase, when ventricles contract itself, we can use the term ventricular systolic phase. Okay, so two phases are there: contraction, relaxation, contraction, relaxation, contraction. When atria contract, that time ventricle relax, because blood comes from the atria to ventricle type, right? When ventricle move that blood towards the lung and throughout the body, then it will contract. That time we can use the term systolic phase of ventricular. So just opposite, when atria contract, ventricle in a diastolic phase. When atria in diastolic phase, ventricle in systolic phase. So continuous contraction, relaxation occur in our cardiac cycle. And cardiac cycle is a sequence of events that occur when the heart beats, which contains two main phases, systole and diastole. Systole means contraction, diastole means relaxation. Just look at this particular animated picture first.
blood raft flow into the right atrium from the superior or inferior vena cava, the largest veins in your body. After reaching the right atrium, you have less than half a second to admire the scenery before the atrium contraction sends you down to the right ventricle. To get from the right atrium to the right ventricle, you will have slipped through your tricuspid valve. Heart valves function as perfectly timed doors and only allow blood to move in one direction. After you slide through the first set of valve flaps, they slam shut behind you, and the ventricle contract. This sends you shooting upward through the pulmonary valve in the pulmonary artery. The pulmonary artery sends the blood toward the lungs, splitting it into many smaller tubes. You are eventually squeezed through the tiniest tubes into the lungs' alveoli. In these narrow tubes in the lungs, the red blood cells load up with oxygen, and carbon dioxide leaves the blood vessels. Then you and your oxygenated buddies flow back to the heart through the pulmonary veins. One of the pulmonary veins dumps into the left atrium. Soon after you reach the left atrium, a familiar process begins again, as the atrium contraction sends you down through the mitral valve and into the final chamber, the left ventricle. From here, you will embark on an adventure through the body, because the next ventricular contraction will send you bursting upward into the aorta. The aorta is a large tube that branches into many other smaller tubes to distribute newly oxygenated blood throughout the body. If you decide to continue with the tour, you may flow down to a toe before circling your way back to the heart in roughly 30 seconds. Now that you know how your heart works, it's time to take you on a fascinating tour of the digestive system to show you.
Okay, so this is a short video related to how our heart works, how all the valve work, how blood comes from the atria to ventricle and ventricle to our pulmonary vein or pulmonary artery side. Now, one by one, we will discuss each step. Okay, first step is joint diastole, in which joint means in which all four chambers involve. Okay, so in joint diastole, all four chambers of heart are in relaxed position. Okay, where the tricuspid and bicuspid valve are open, allowing blood to flow from the pulmonary vein and vena cava into left and right ventricle respectively. Okay, left and right ventricle respectively when there is a joint diastole, when all four chambers of heart are in relaxed position. Okay, and in this situation, the semilunar valve are closed. In this situation, semilunar valve are closed. Second step, atrial systolic. Systolic means contraction. So in this particular phase, SA node or sinoatrial node generate an action potential rhythm, causing this SA node generate a action potential like this. So what it will cause? It will cause atria to contract simultaneously. That's why atrial systole, right? And this increase blood flow into the ventricular side. When atria contract, then immediately this tricuspid valve open up and blood comes from the atria to ventricular side. So this will increase blood flow into the ventricle by about 30%. Third step, ventricular systole, in which action potential is conducted to the ventricles by AV nodes and AB bundles. That SA node which already generated action potential now conduct towards the ventricular side via AV nodes and AB bundles, and this will cause ventricular muscle to contract. Clear? So this increased ventricular pressure closer to the tricuspid valve and bicuspid valve, preventing backflow of the blood to the atria side. Right? As pressure rises slowly, immediately the semilunar valve open up and allow this time blood to flow into the pulmonary artery and aorta. Pulmonary artery or aorta. Clear? Now, immediately ventricular diastole happened. Means as the blood just gone from the ventricular towards the pulmonary artery, immediately this ventricle get relaxed, and this time it will reduce the pressure cause semilunar valve are closed and preventing backflow of the blood into the ventricle itself. Right? As pressure decrease further, again tricuspid and bicuspid valve open and allow blood to flow freely into the ventricle. So this is how all four steps are going on. Atricular systole, as you can see, then ventricular systole, atricular diastole, and ventricular diastole. These all lines PQRS showing the ECG or atricular systole, ventricular systole, atricular diastole simultaneously after one after another. As you can see this picture and very quickly you can analyze. Now next, yes. Here, yes. Contraction occur in atria, then contraction occur in the ventricle. So this is how all the four steps occur one by one. Okay, and at the end return to the first step, means joint diastole occur, in which ventricle and atria return in the relaxed stage, and now we can say the term cycle is repeat again. Okay, so this is the atricular diastole, ventricular diastole, atricular systole, ventricular systole. Now ventricular. Okay, I'll start it again. Now systole, contraction, ejection, relaxation, ventricular filling, atrial systole again, contraction, ejection, like this. Okay, so these are the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 steps are there. So in our cardiac output per minute, 72 cardiac cycle are there. And in each cycle lasts in about 0.8 second. And during each cycle, ventricular pump out approximately 70 ml of blood, which is known as stroke volume. So the cardiac output in the stroke volume multiplied by the heart rate average 5000 ml or 5 liter blood flow in an individual. Okay. During each cardiac cycle, two prominent sounds are produced, which can be heard by equipment which is known as stethoscope. The first sound is known as lub sound, which is associated with the closing of or closure of tricuspid and bicuspid valve. Okay. And the second sound, which is known as dub sound, it is associated with the closure of semilunar valve. Okay. These sound have clinically diagnostic significantly. Now, what is ECG? Electrocardiograph. G for graph, not gram. Okay. Sometimes question asks in various competitive examinations. So electrocardiograph. So what is electrocardiograph? It is an machine which used to obtain a graphical representation of electrical activity of our heart during a cardiac cycle. What is electrocardiograph? It is a graphical representation of an electrical activity of our heart during a cardiac cycle. How we can obtain this? To obtain the standard ECG, a patient connected with a machine with 3 electrical leads that continue monitor our heart activity. For a detailed evaluation of heart function, multiple leads are attached to the chest region. So there are so many peaks like this P, Q, R, this P, Q, R, S, T. Each peak denotes its own meaning. Like this P wave indicates atrial contraction. Atrial contraction means depolarization. First step. Okay. And this QRS complex denotes ventricular contraction or ventricular depolarization. So this is atrial depolarization. This whole known as ventricular contraction or ventricular depolarization, making systole start. And this T wave in which ventricle actually return to its normal position, means repolarization, making a systole end. So this is how we can read out the normal electrocardiogram. Each alphabet denotes its own meaning. Okay. P means articular contraction. QRS means ventricular contraction. T wave means ventricular return to the normal position or repolarization. Now, heartbeat rate. By counting the number of QRS complex, one can determine the heart rate of any individual. What is the clinical significance? Clinical significance of ECG is to obtain different shape. If it is not in a normal graphical form, it can show any kind of abnormality, any kind of disease of that person related to heart. Okay. Now, what is double circulation? Double circulation actually include two different pathway, pulmonary pathway and systemic circulatory pathway. Pulmonary pathway or pulmonary circulation, in which right atrium actually pump blood into the pulmonary artery. Right atrium receive blood from the right atria, deoxygenated blood, right? And same kind of deoxygenated blood, it actually pump towards the pulmonary artery. Normally, artery contain oxygenated blood, but this blood is actually going towards the lung side for oxygenation, and it going towards the lung side. That's why we can use the term artery, but this contain deoxygenated blood. Okay, blood travel to the lung to become oxygenated, means it contains deoxygenated blood, and oxygen after oxygenation, oxygenated blood return to the left atria via pulmonary vein. So in the case of pulmonary circulation, pulmonary artery and vein contains opposite type of vein which normally present. In vein normally deoxygenated blood flow, while here in this case oxygenated blood is present in pulmonary vein, while deoxygenated blood is present in pulmonary artery. Clear? Now, as you can see in this particular picture, this is pulmonary circulation. This is pulmonary artery. This pulmonary artery actually receive blood from the right ventricular. So deoxygenated, blue color, deoxygenated blood. While this pulmonary vein contains red blood, means oxygenated blood. So this one is just opposite if we compare it rest of the veins and artery present in our body. Rest is known as systematic circulation. Okay. Now systematic circulation, left ventricle pump oxygenated blood to the aorta, and oxygenated blood distributed to various artery, arteriole and capillary, and deoxygenated blood again return to the right atrium through veins and vena cava. Okay. So systematic circulation provide nutrition and oxygen to the tissue while removing waste product. And in this hepatic portal system and coronary system, there are two different terms also comes over here. This hepatic portal system carries blood to the digestive tract, to the liver before entering into the systematic circulation, while this coronary system specifically serve the blood to the cardiac muscles. Okay, cardiac muscles. Now, regulation of cardiac activity. The heart actually normally active, showing its normal activities as a intrinsically regulated by a specialized muscle, which is known as nodal tissue, which make the heart myogenic. a special neural center which is present in the medulla oblongata. This actually can moderate the cardiac function through the autonomic nervous system. Okay, so in our nervous system, there are two type of nerves are present: sympathetic nerves and parasympathetic nerves. Okay, sympathetic nerves, these are the sympathetic nerves. These nerves of the autonomous nervous system increase the heart rate, increase the ventricular contraction strength and cardiac output. While this parasympathetic, this is the parasympathetic. Okay, this parasympathetic neural signal decrease the heart rate and speed up the action potential conduction, thus reducing the cardiac output, while sympathetic increase the cardiac output, contraction and increase the heart rate. So it will increase the normal functioning, it will decrease the normal functioning. While this adrenal medulla oblongata, some hormones which are released from the adrenal medullary region, this also comes and connect with the sympathetic nerves. So this will also increase the cardiac output. So this medulla region hormone also increase the cardiac output. So generally parasympathetic nerve related to decrease the heart rate, decrease the cardiac output, and for sympathetic just vice versa. Now let's discuss some disorder which is related to the circulatory system. First one is hypertension or high blood pressure. What is the normal blood pressure? Normal blood pressure 120 by 80 mg. 80 mm Hg means your para, जिसे हिंदी में कहते हैं. It consists of reading 140 if 140 by 90 or more than 140 by 90, then we can consider it as a hypertension. It can lead to heart disease and affect many organs like retina of eye, brain, blood, heart. In heart, myocardial infarction, cardiomyopathy, heart failure can possible, and for it can also affect the kidney like hypertensiveness, nephropathy, chronic renal failure. Another type of problem which is related with the our circulatory system, it is known as coronary artery disease, CAD. It is also known as atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis, which affect heart muscles. It can affect the heart muscles, blood supply vessels. It can cause because of the deposition of calcium, deposition of the fat, deposition of the cholesterol and fibroid tissue in the artery. And it will continuous deposition can narrow down the passage for the blood flow. As you can see over here, this is a plaque, deposition of plaque occur, and it will cause a kind of obstruction in blood flow. And if continuous deposition occur, then it will completely block the movement flow of blood to the muscles of the heart. So it can cause it can affect the rhythm of heart. Okay, so what is coronary artery disease? Narrowing of arterial lumen or impairing blood flow because of the deposition of calcium, fat or cholesterol. Okay, angina, another term which is also related with this heart disease. Angina pain means acute chest pain. It is a symptom occur due to insufficient heart muscle oxygenation. If blood flow to the heart muscles of heart muscles get restricted because of any reason, then acute pain, that patient can feel acute chest pain, and it can occur due to the condition that affect blood flow. It is common in middle-aged and elderly individuals. Heart failure, it is related to the heart failure is related to the pump blood effectively to meet body's needs. If heart of an individual fail to pump enough amount of blood, effectively to meet body's need, that time heart failure can occur. It may lead to the congestion of heart failure characterized by the characteristics by the lung congestion and cardiac arrest. It is distinct from the cardiac arrest and heart attack. So these are the some problems or disorder which is related to the circulatory system or heart. So now your this circulatory system part has been totally completed from my side. Still you have any query, any doubt which we have discussed today, please let me know. We will discuss it later on. Till then, take care, bye bye, and keep learning. Namaskar.